Well, hello and welcome to our webinar. My name is Brian Gallagher. I'm your trainer for today, or pedagogical consultant as we call them at It's Learning. And our topic today is, this is the back to school drop-in. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you so you know what I'm talking about. And really our focus today is really more questions and answers. I am gonna present for the first 10, 15 minutes or so, maybe a little less, talk a little bit about what one might wanna think about with the back to school time. And then I'll transition to talk a little bit about some of the updates we've had in the past couple months, basically over the summer, and show those just a little bit. And then we'll stop the recording and we'll open up the microphone for questions. So once again, as I said, my name is Brian Gallagher. I'm one of the trainers or pedagogical consultants, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so you can see my screen a little bit bigger here. And our plan for today, like I said, we're going to start off with really talking about what happens with the school year back to school. So in the back to school time, or when the school year changes over. And I'm going to go through each of these points, and then, like I said, we'll hop over to new and upcoming features. But really, the biggest thing that happens at this point of the year for many of our schools and customers is getting the old users out and the new users in. So typically, this is students or participants or faculty and staff or professors. So there's always a new group of people coming in and a group of people leaving. And for many of our customers, this is done through an integration. So you may have a school information system or an MIS system where you've entered the names of all your students and all your staff, and you press a button and that information magically floats over to It's Learning. You're probably working with an integration consultant of ours to help make that transition smooth. But for lots of our customers, they do this either manually or with a CSV file. I'm going to hop over to It's Learning real quickly here. I'm logged in here in my demo site as a system admin. And so for the folks who are doing this more manually, you're working here in this user access rights area and also in the hierarchy area. I'm not going to describe this process in too much detail today, other than to say, if you're unfamiliar with it or you need some support, definitely reach out to your key account manager and or your pedagogical consultant and book some training hours, because they will happily walk you through it step by step. So that's really the biggest thing that folks are doing right now. But right next to that is some of the kind of the housekeeping stuff that I talk about. And the biggest one there is archiving courses. And again, some of our customers have courses being created with an integration. But many of our customers, I would argue probably most of our customers, are the teachers are creating these courses manually. And this archiving process is really recommended. I'm going to show you how it works. So I'm going to hop over now back to It's Learning, but now I'm with a teacher account. My teacher's Ann Engelman here. And as we see, she's teaching the biology grade 8, or she taught, past tense, the biology grade 8 course from last year. And so she's got that course already there. I'm going to open it up, and you're going to see that there's nothing currently planned, because of course there's nothing in the future for her. Everything's in the past. And so she's got all of her plans from last year. They're all there with all the learning materials. Everything's all there. Also in the participants page, need to update that. She's got all of her students there. Let me go ahead and do that accurately. So now she's got all of her students, and I'll show you how I do all this stuff in a minute. I just want to set it all up so it looks right in the beginning. Okay, now all of our students are there, and they're linked, of course, to the assignments that they completed and whatnot. So what Mrs. Engelman needs to do is she wants to take her course and use it for this year, 23-24. And so, of course, she's going to copy it. I'll show you how she's going to do that. And then she's going to, the second step is to archive her course. So to copy the course, we go to the courses menu. Many of you know how to do this. Click on the green plus sign. And we'll do biology 8A again, this time 23-24. I'm going to put a little star here just so we know that this is the one that we're working with right now. I have to put it in a school. You don't need to worry about that. And then the big thing is we're going to apply a template. And template, actually, in this sense of the word, is her previous course. So we'll browse the templates. And here we see this second one right here is the biology grade 8, 23-24 course. And she can just click on it. If she's working with with terms, she can update the terms here. In this particular school, we're not working with terms, but she could do that. She could copy the plan dates. She doesn't want to do that in this case, of course, because the plan dates are everything from last year, 22, 23. So she's going to put a new plan date. She's also going to edit a couple things in the course to make it a little better. She could get a message when the course is created. In my situation, of course, my course is a kind of a dummy demo course. It's just got a very few number of activities that need to be copied over. But if it was a course for, a real school year, it might have a whole lot of material there. So getting a message later might be useful. She'll pick out her color and she'll create the course. And as you see up here in the upper left-hand side, it's spinning up here. That means that her course is being copied. We'll check back in on that course in just a minute, but meanwhile, we're going to hop over to the old course. Here's the new course that's being created with the two little stars. I also see I've got another one down here that I did earlier. I'll remove that one by taking the star away. It's still available to me down here. We're not going to mess with that. That's just for today. Anyhow, so this is the course that's being copied, right? Or the destination course is here, and this is the one that's being copied. This is the old course. We're going to go into the old course, and Mrs. Engelman's going to do two things here. The first is that she's got all of her plans there, and in all the plans, she's also got, of course, assignments. And in the assignments, of course, the students answered things, and she's got their grades and all that other content there that she wants to hang on to. And she wants it linked with the students. So we'll go over to the More menu in the participants page, where we see that Elizabeth and Frederica and Albert and all of them are in the course. And somehow they're in the class 6A. You can ignore that, pretend it says 8A, and that's fine too. And this is what's called the group. In the past, this was called the hierarchy synchronization. Now it's called groups or group synchronization. And what this means is that Elizabeth and Frederica aren't in the course. I mean, they are obviously, but what's actually in the course is the class list for 6A. And what this means is if her school admin were to do the new users and pop in the new group of 6A kids, and hopefully Elizabeth and Frederica and her friends bump up to 7A, that automatically the new 6A kids would show up in this, 6A students would show up in this biology course. And we don't want that, of course. We want Elizabeth and Frederica to stay in the course. So what Mrs. Engelman has to do is she has to cancel this connection with the group 6A. So we do that here in the groups menu. And this will look a little bit new to us this year because this is a new screen. It's the same process though that you've done in the past. So we'll go to this groups menu and we see this organization groups area up at the top here. And as we see the class or the class list of 6A is here and it's connected to the course. And we're going to click on the three dots and remove the automatic update. Now, of course, the other option is Mrs. Engelman could say, I don't want my students to see their old assignments. And so she could just remove all the students from the course. That's fine too. Every school system is going to do this differently. And for some school systems, there's a law that says you have to maintain student records for X number of years. So of course, we want to do that. For my case today, of course, I'm going to remove the automatic update. It's going to say, are you sure you want to do this? The answer is yes, I do. Click remove. And although they're no longer here on the screen, when I go back to the course participants page, there's Elizabeth and Frederica and all them, and they're still in my course. So that's the first step. Second step, I want to archive the course. What does archive mean? Archive means that the course is still there, still available, still accessible, both to Elizabeth, the student, and Frederica, but also to Mrs. Engelman, the teacher. But it's not sitting right on the course homepage. So to do this, we go to the More menu in the course and click on Settings. In this Course Properties and Features area, you've learned this area before because you can change the name of the course or the color and a bunch of other settings. But up by the three dots here, you can also archive the course. As you see, you could also delete the course. We're not doing that right now. We're going to move the course to an archive. So I click there, get a pop-up saying, am I sure? Yep, I'm sure. Click OK. And now, where is the course? Because I want to go back. Maybe it's been 3 months and I forgot some resource or a student had a question about a grade. Where'd the course go? It's not on my course overview page with the course cards. We see that, even if I scroll down, which doesn't work because I only have these 5 courses here. But if I go on the courses menu, and down here I click on all courses. And it's a little hidden where the archive is, but of course you don't go there every day, so it's okay. With this drop-down menu, I can switch over to the archived courses. And here I see there's that biology course. I can open it right up and go visit it. I could also check mark there and unarchive it. I am going to open it up just to prove that I'm not talking silly. And when I go to the plans here, of course, I see all of the assignments again with all the students' work is it's all in here. So that's how the archive works. And again, the reason we want to do that as teachers is so that we can save our old material. But also, who knows in the future, maybe another teacher comes in and they teach biology 8 and I want to share my course with them. but I didn't like this year's course. I like the one I did 2 years ago. So of course I can share that with them. I've also heard from some teachers that if they just change the title of the course, delete the old students and bring in the new students, that seems to work. It does seem to work, and the key word there is seem to work. On the back end, it's not actually really functioning the way you want it to. There's some metadata stuff that gets a little confusing there. So it's really best to archive the old courses or delete them, as I said, but of course, first create a copy of them. So we're going to park that topic and go back to our PowerPoint. So we talked about user import integrations. We talked about archiving courses and why that's important. What else can we do as a school administrator or system administrator? And the answer is we should clean up the platform, a little housekeeping time. So I'll hop back over to the admin page. So here's again our system admin page. We can clean up in a couple places. We'll go top to bottom. So user access rights, of course, I can delete old accounts. If I've got a teacher who's left the school, I can delete their account. The courses still stay, even though the teacher account is no longer there. The other thing I can do, of course, is go into the courses menu, and I'll show you this right now. And here I can sort all the courses based on, let's say, last visited or last updated. In this case, of course, this is now. But if I flip it around, here, course 1, 2, 3. It's actually created by, this is German, I'm sorry, for unbekannt. Unbekannt means unknown, unknown. I also work a lot in the German market, so some of my settings are in German here. But I can also see this Math 3B course, also in German, was created in 2021. Hasn't been updated since then either. I could just delete this course. And that's what I'm recommending in a cleanup, is just delete the old courses. This course 1, 2, 3 here, created by unknown, unknown, that means somebody deleted, I deleted the account, of course, for this teacher. Also, it's got 0 participants. I don't need this course anymore. I can delete this one as well. As you see, I also have the ability to archive courses or unarchive courses. Not our topic really for today, but that's something else I could do in this page. Back to cleanup. After I've done that with courses, I'm going to want to do that with communities. So here's where the projects are. I'll zip over to the booking managements area if I use this, and I may want to just make sure everything's correct in there. So in the booking management, I could say, for example, if someone wants to book the auditorium, they can pick up the keys if they go visit the secretary. Well, maybe the secretary doesn't have the keys anymore, but now the assistant headmaster has the keys, or the math teacher has the keys. So I could edit that in here. And this is a good time of year just to check those things out. If you're using terms, you can add the new term now, and that's something you can do here. And of course, terms are always linked with the gradebook, so a great thing to do there. If you are using the parent features like the parent dashboard, you might want to update or check on the parent dashboard, see how things are in there. You can go into the trash can and delete old things. So here we've got old users. Initially, they're in quarantine, but the old ones, the really old ones, you can just delete them. And you can select them all, or you can empty the trash can and delete them permanently. And once they're permanently deleted, they're gone. So got rid of those two. I can go and delete old courses. Again, some of them are in quarantine, but the older ones are deletable. Also, old projects or communities, terms, I can delete all those things if I would like. And the last area here to take a look at, maybe second to last, is the mass messaging. So it's just, again, it's the time to clean up. So this old message from 2021, it's 23 already. Let me just go ahead and delete that. We don't need that anymore. And the last thought would be to check into the policies area and maybe just proofread over the policies that you have put in place and see if they're still what you like. So it's a little bit of the cleanup that we do. Next thing to think about here is getting new teachers or new staff or new school admins or system admins trained. And either that's us doing the training from It's Learning, so you're going to book hours with us through your key account manager, and your pedagogical consultant will come and do trainings in person or online, depending on the situation. Or maybe you're doing the training internally. If you have 2 new teachers from a faculty of 100, I am sure you've got a handful of really amazing teachers who can help spread some knowledge. We strongly recommend for system admins or account admins, basically, that you do book the trainings with It's Learning, because we really go deep into all of the settings and really explain each thing. And of course, you went through that when you started with us. So that's kind of the back to school stuff. It's a nutshell. It's not really deep into detail, but that's really what it is. And this is what I want to answer questions about here in a couple minutes. Really quickly though, our second topic, I want to highlight some of the new features that we have. Over the summer, we've updated our survey tool. The new one, I think it looks really snazzy. looks a lot better. But also it's much more accessible, and so all users can use it. Also, the table view, which is a feature that a lot of people wanted, we now have. Let me hop over and show you what that looks like in this biology course real quick. So when I go into the plans, and actually I can see the table view right here already, but I don't have dates on this course yet. So if I go into this unit here, I see all the, the topics are all there. But if I go back, I click on the table view, and here I can see all of the plans, and they're sorted by the units, of course. I still need to add the dates, but I can go in and just edit here, 1, 2, 3. Of course, that doesn't make any sense, but I can do that. And scroll over a little bit, and we can see I put a teacher's notes field. That's how I like to do my courses. So you can do all that stuff here in this table view. Another thing that's been updated is the resources page got an overhaul. It's much more accessible now. Also, the actions menu got extended a little bit. And then the last thing that's new, well, last big thing that's new that I wanted to highlight is the participants page. You saw me click through this really quickly earlier, but if I want to add participants to my course, I only do this once a year, but I can click here, add, and either I can search for a student's name if I just want to add one student. For example, who do I have here? Is Marco Polo, I think, in the school? No, Elizabeth is, we know that. There's Elizabeth, so I can just add her to the course in whichever role I wanted. Or, of course, I'd rather add all of the students in the class 6B or 6A, whatever it is. So I click on here, and there's 6th class, and here's 6A. And with one click here, I can add the whole group simultaneously. I get this pop-up which says, am I sure that's what I want to do? And more importantly, that, as we described earlier, this will automatically update when the administrator changes the list. So if I get a new student on my list, the administrator does that, automatic student gets added to my course. That's what I want, of course, so I add the group. And then the other thing that was changed here is if I wanted to create course groups, that's changed a little bit. It used to be we had an extra menu area for groups, but now it's built in here to the participants page. And down here at the bottom, I can create my course groups. So if I have, reading groups 1, 2, 3, or whatever, I can do all that down here. Back to my PowerPoint slide. Oh, right, I skipped this more accessible password area because I think this is also another great thing. Then I'll show you where you can find the release notes. So we're constantly doing accessibility upgrades, but this one I wanted to show because I think it's really great. It's just an example. So when I go to my login page, what's new here is that you can see my password if I click on the I. So that's new. And that's one of the many accessibility features that we've added just to make its learning more accessible for all users. Last thing I want to show is where you can find these release notes. So I've gone to this, maybe you know this page, this support.itslearning.com page, and just type in the field here, release notes. I bet you could probably even scroll down and find them. Here they are. Test tool release notes are here. There's all the different release notes, but if you just search for release notes, you can see them all here. I'll just click on the top one. That's not the most recent one. Here's the most recent 141 is the one that just happened. And it explains all the different things. Here's the table view that we just looked at, all the different things. Like I said, I just did a quick overview of what's there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn back on the camera. And the presentation part of today is winding up. And once you all can see me again, yeah, there I am. So in a moment, I'm going to stop the recording and we'll take questions. But for the recording's purpose, I just wanted to thank you all for coming today, and for listening to us talk about back to school tips and tricks. And we're really excited that we can be here to answer questions for you. And like I said, if you want more training or have more questions, definitely reach out to your key account manager or to your pedagogical consultant who can help answer those questions for you. So with that, I'm going to wish you all a wonderful day and stop the recording.